I would have been here sooner, but I walked into the room with my coffee, ready to start the show, and then well, I nearly threw up. When I left the room, it was fine. I walked back in the room, not fine. And I'm like, oh, God. So I had to leave the room, get the fan, open the window. It's 30 degrees out right now. Put the fan in the window, pump in the fresh air. Because one of these three jackasses just ruined the room. Story of my life. Oh, my God. All right. Focus, focus, focus. Welcome to the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. You see, now it's freezing in here, but I'm just gonna have to deal. I got the heater going and a fan pushing cold air in. So at some point I'm gonna have to get up and say, all right, that's enough cold air. It's freezing in here. And I can breathe again. My God. So the show happens each and every weekday. Excuse me, from the Baldwin Ace Hardware Fear Bunker Studio. Baldwin Ace Hardware, beacon of DIY awesomeness in the Northland. Let us take a quick look at what the frick happened on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast last night. Or I should say a listen. Take a listen. All right. The Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, not the Ben and Eric. Who are these Zanes? My brain is not right now. Who are these Zanes is the show where Ben and I review old recordings of me doing radio in different eras, different radio stations. And in particular, we're focusing on the Day After Columbine show, the Day After Columbine celebration, the 21st of April, 1999. The Eagle Morning Show with Eric and Brian. We pick it up. Coming out of a Steve Miller song. Brian has to do the weather. NPR Brian. And all I have to do is listen. Do I? No.
The New Eagle 97.3, Saginaw's Classic Rock. Stevie Guitar Miller there in Swingtown. 7:39, 21 on front of 8. Eric and Brian on the Eagle.
Partly sunny, your high 60. Currently Saginaw 45, Bay City 44.
Is it going to get sunny today?
Partly sunny, high 60.
Look at it out there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure what I was doing coming out of the song. First of all, why was he talking and then I started singing?
The New Eagle 97.3, Saginaw's Classic Rock. Stevie Guitar Miller there in Swingtown. 7:39, 21 on front of 8. Eric and Brian on the Eagle.
Partly sunny, your high 60. Currently Saginaw 45, Bay City 44.
Is it going to get sunny today?
Partly sunny, high 60.
Look at it out there.
Okay, now I don't know why I did that. Wow, 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 wow. But here's the weather report again.
Partly sunny, your high 60.
Is it going to get sunny today?
Partly sunny.
He's annoyed. Partly sunny. I just told you, asshole.
Partly sunny, your high 60.
Is it going to get sunny today?
Partly sunny.
Holy shit. Well, Ben and I went over that with a fine-tooth comb, and truth be told, this is actually the third show from the post-Columbine celebration. And that's ridiculous to say, but the show happened the day after Columbine. All right? Now, typically in radio, when something massive like that happens, you're in a weird spot. You should probably not, though, basically leave it to just a news story and then go about it business as usual. You should probably throw everything you had planned out the window and do something different to reflect what just happened. 25 dead kids in a school. And at the time that we were reporting on it, the kids hadn't even been removed from the school. They're still in there. And here we are doing stupid shit on the Eagle Morning Show with Eric and Brian. All right, hang on. I got to close the window because I'm freezing. I'll be right back. During the Eagle Morning Show with Eric and Brian on the day after Columbine celebration, we've tried to locate the owner of the cow with two mouths. We've, we did a whole bunch of other stupid shit. The only thing that we didn't do was we didn't interview the guy who was in the mafia, because the two people that shot up Columbine, we decided, we better not air that. We better not do that because that guy was actually in the mafia, and the people who shot up Columbine, they're in the trench coat mafia. So we're going to be, that's very, very sensitive on our part. We are being so sensitive there with that one. But no, let's do a whole bunch of other stupid shit and act like we don't care what the hell's going on. So bad. Jesus. All right. So that will debut tomorrow. Who are these Zanes on Patreon? We went a little longer. Oh, come on, O'Neill. I just moved out of the way so that you could get more FaceTime. What the fuck? We went a little longer. So I know we've had some people say these shows need to be longer. I went a little longer. We went a little longer, and I have an idea. I said to Ben, I go, how about I get you all of an episode, all of the material, and you clip it all up so that you are hosting the clips. And he's like, I don't know if I could do that. I go, come on. Look, all you need to do the Who Are These Zane show is you need the raw audio, which I obviously will get to you, Ben. And then you need a something to take notes with. That's it. Just listen to the clips and take notes. It's that simple. Come on. I think Carl just started a new show called Who Are These Socials? Should get his ass on the phone. It's been a while since I woke him up. I think he's Carl is used to me calling him at ridiculous times, and he doesn't like it when I do this, so that means I'm going to keep doing it. The best time to get him. He's usually on the treadmill. Carl from Who Are These Podcasts? Come on. That's annoying. I got no clout.
Hi, you've...
Oh, a second here. Hey, Siri. Text Carl. Wakey, wakey. It's time to talk to Eric Zane on the Eric Zane Show podcast about your new show, period. Call me back. All right. Last night, Thursday Night Football. How about this? First of all, the Rams suck this year. I didn't realize how much the Rams suck this year. And then Matt Stafford is injured. He's done for the year. So they've got some quarterback on there that no one's heard of. I don't know who the fuck the guy is. And they're playing the Raiders. They're losing. I don't know what happened to the starting quarterback. But next thing you know, he's out. Enter Baker Mayfield. It's been weird for Baker Mayfield. Terrific career at Oklahoma. Top draft pick to Cleveland. Things fall apart in Cleveland. You know that shit is bad. Oh, hang on. Hello, Eric Zane Show podcast. Who's this?
The Eric Zane Show. This is Carl from Worthy's Podcast. What's up, buddy?
Carl, thank you for calling me back. I was beginning to think that I was being ignored.
Oh, definitely not. And I wouldn't ignore the Zaniacs, that's for sure.
You know, the Zaniacs are no more.
What?
Yeah, I don't use that term. It's kind of like the N-word on the show.
That's why I use it.
Oh, oh my God. First of all, I just saw that there's a new show that just debuted called Who Are These Socials?
Correct. Yes.
What happens on Who Are These Socials? Wow, how is that different?
All right. So Blind Mike and I find the most ridiculous things going on social media, and we share those with the audience and give our 2 cents on it.
Oh my God! So that seems like it would take a lot of time to come up with those things. Are you just basically following trends?
Well, that's the fun part, is that I haven't figured out the show format completely yet. We've only done 1 episode, but we have a lot of good ideas. And I mean, you could literally just go on TikTok and in an hour's time put together a 3-hour show.
Oh my God, I love it. So it's just fantastic to think that what just started as basically an idea, kicking it around with Who Are These Podcasts, has now so many spin-off shows in your own universe and other people's universe. It's got to be very, very satisfying.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously the Dabbleverse, everything coming out of the Stuttering John stuff that we used to do is pretty crazy. But let me tell you some of the ideas we had because I hate social media. I notoriously dislike social media in every way, but I'm addicted to it just like everybody else. I'm on Twitter all day. So one of the things that I do, Eric, are you on Facebook?
Yes, sir.
My Facebook feed is miserable. I don't know if it's my friends and family who suck or if just Facebook's algorithms. Maybe I did something wrong. So one of the things I do on this new show is I open up my Facebook feed and I just read to you what my friends are talking about, whether it's posting the suicide hotline or showing a picture of their cat who just died. Like it's the most miserable experience I've ever had.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're going through it, and then you're. So this is great because you're also dealing in people in your personal world, so they're probably going to start hating you.
Yeah, like I called out my sister on the show yesterday because she's the only person at this crafts event wearing a cloth mask for some reason. Like, what year is it? What are you doing?
My God, you're fucked. Now, oh, my God. Family members and masking. You're going after a couple of big hitters, or you might as well talk about abortion.
Oh, well, that's next week. I'm saving that one for next week, Eric.
Is John still fair game? What did John stop doing a show?
Yes, as of November 1st, he is offline, so he hasn't put out any new content. He's coming back in January, though.
Okay, well, we'll see. I don't know about that. I mean, come on, he doesn't seem well. He hasn't seemed well for years.
I know there's rumors that he's in rehab right now. I hope that's true. That would be amazing because he's not even tweeting anymore. He's really off the grid.
So exit John, enter Chad Zumock.
Oh, you were ahead of your time, my friend, with Chad Zumock.
Yes, it came up. It came up because you were engaging him, and that's fine. You know, I mean, you got to figure these things out as you go. But right away, from the moment I heard that fucker, I hated him, and now he has really kind of gone after you, and now you're going after him. It's awesome.
Well, it's not just me. There's a bunch of shows that have cropped up. There's this show called Sad Chad that I hopped on last week. They just goof on Chad. And it'll be interesting because I have Gino Visconti coming on Who Are These Podcasts later today.
Uh-huh.
And Gino's got a thing with Kevin Brennan, who hosts a show called Misery Loves Company.
Yep.
And Chad Zumock is back on that show pretty regularly. So
there's
a lot of things intertwined here.
Wait a minute now. I thought that he hated Gino. I heard you reviewing Chad saying how much he wanted to kick Gino's ass, and now they're back together?
Well, no, Kevin and Gino are not together. They want to well, I shouldn't say they. Kevin wants to murder Gino.
Right.
But Kevin and Chad used to be on the outs because he was on that show for a long time and then he left. But now they're back together again. And I think it's like a shared hatred of Gino.
Wow.
And
Okay.
Chrissy Mayer that has brought them together.
My God, what a fucking crazy. It's very dramatic. There's so much going on there. There's many, many layers to all these little wars. You know,
I can't even keep up with it. It's funny. I talked to, ready for a little name drop here.
Yep.
I talked to my buddy Drew Lane about it.
Yeah,
he's fascinated by this. He goes, I don't understand this East Coast radio thing. Everyone's got a beef with everyone. There's all these problems going on. Is that like just an East Coast thing that's going on?
Yeah, Drew, I can imagine that he would say that watching that all because he didn't even know who a lot of these people were until you started talking about them.
Well, nobody did.
Yeah.
I'm introducing the world to everyone here.
Now, you've seen, of course, that there is also, I guess, an idea of a spin-off show. I wouldn't have thought of it if it hadn't been for you, but Who Are These Zanes, where I'm actually ripping my own shit, and that comes from the universe of Who Are These Podcasts.
I love that concept. We've done a couple of episodes. We did our 100th episode and our 200th episode making fun of Who Are These Podcasts. I had my friends come over. This is what you got to do. You got to get. I don't know if you've done this yet. You ever get some old colleagues to come on? Maybe people you worked with on the radio back in the day to come on and rip on you.
I would, but most hate me.
Why is that, Eric? You're such a likable guy. I don't understand that.
I swear to God that it's not my fault and that it's everyone else's fault. But at some point, at some point, I'm going to have to maybe rethink that because it's remarkable. But
I have a little philosophy on my show, and that's if everyone around you thinks you're an asshole, you're probably an asshole.
Right. That's true. I do have one guy that I do it with, and that is Ben. I actually did work with Ben on the radio. So we do it together. But it just came up because I was reviewing an old clip, and I just popped in my head. It's been way too long since I threw in a random call out of the blue to Carl,
It's funny too, Eric, because yesterday Aaron from the Steel Toe Morning Show wanted me to come on because he had Cardiff on his show, and he texted me. I didn't see the text, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll give you more notice next time." I go, "Dude, Eric Zane calls me at 8 a.m. directly from his show. Don't worry about it. Just call me anytime. It's fine."
You know what's funny about that? I remember him. Aaron Imholt is his name.
Yes.
And when I used to do radio, they put our show on some city in Minnesota, and I think it was Sauk Rapids or something like that. And his show was on, and he came after us, guns a-blazing. He was he was gunning for us. He was talking shit about us all the time, which is fine. That's kind of the nature of the beast. But yeah, and then for whatever reason, radio, it didn't work out. But it's good to see that he never gave it up, and he's still doing his thing.
Was that free beer and hot wings?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I know you guys were in a lot of markets.
Which they've shit has hit the fan on their show.
Oh, really?
You remember the guy Joe?
Well, of course I know Joe. Yeah.
Joe's out.
Oh no. What
yeah.
happened?
Oh wow. There's a lot of. I got a cease and desist on this deal because I was talking about it and maybe a little too loose-lipped, but all of this is allegedly, Carl. I have to be very careful how I word this. But all that, the way this all unfolded was a young lady became a whistleblower, and she announced that she was abused. She didn't say any names. But a lot of people started to put 1 and 1 to equal 2 in their brains. And then not long after that, Joe announced his resignation. No one knows if it was connected or not. All allegedly, of course.
All right, I have a question for you. So, a cease and desist, you don't work for them. They don't have any control over what you say. Why do you have to be careful?
Well, I think
you just speculate away, buddy. That's what we're American.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Well,
we make shit up and then we broadcast.
I'm gonna tell you why, Carl. Because I'm a huge pussy. That's why.
That story checks out.
But all right, yeah.
What's wrong with you, Eric?
I wouldn't mention that to Drew.
I won't.
Do not. All right. So you're recording today, you said?
Yeah, because my band, the Isotopes, is playing a show tomorrow, and it's hard to do a podcast and then play a rock show. It's too much. So I'm doing Who Are These Podcasts today. I'll have it out this weekend. And yeah.
And wait, what did you say you're doing tomorrow?
My band, the Isotopes, is playing our Christmas show.
Of course. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally, the Bills and the Lions a couple weeks ago. You were the only one that said the Lions are tough.
Oh, I didn't think that was a gimme. And it's weird because I hang out with my family. They're all big Bills fans. They're not paying attention to what's going on. So I explained to them, no, that they're coming. They're in a 3-game winning streak. 2 of those games are on the road. One against the Giants, who are not a bad team. I go, you got to watch out for this team. They play tough. I follow the Lions pretty closely because I have some Detroit connections. And so Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be an easy victory. It's a little more difficult than I wanted it to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But fun game, though, wasn't it?
Oh, it was fantastic. Fantastic. Us Lions fans, we are it's like we won the Super Bowl. We've won 5 games this year. They are the best shitty team you will ever find.
Well, listen, I'll say this because I've been a Bills fan. So we went over 2 decades without a playoff. So I'm familiar with how this works. If you start strong, let's say you win 6 games in a season, okay? 6-10 season was very typical for the Bills. If you start by winning 4 out of the first 6, then you go 6-10. It's a horrible season.
Right.
If you start 1-7 and then end 6-10, there's hope. You're alive. Let's go.
Right,
What's next year look like? Who are we picking up?
Yep.
So I think you guys are doing it the right way. Start shitty and get better.
Yes. I'm happy with that. I'll take it. Okay. Well, enjoy your time. You're doing the show with Gino today, and the people will be able to check that out. It'll be published tomorrow. Whoarethese.com is the website. I know everything there is to know about Who Are These podcasts. It's a must listen. Add that to your listening, please.
Eric, when are we going to do Who Are These Zanes together? I want to be part of this.
Oh, well, you just said the magic words. I will be in touch with you, and I will send you a big block of audio that we can destroy.
Perfect. I love it. All right, buddy. Thanks for calling.
All right. Thanks for picking up, or thanks for calling back.
Yeah, man.
All right, buddy. Talk to you. There you go. Yeah. Carl from Who Are These Podcasts. He is just something. I love that guy. And that all started. He doesn't believe me, but I'm telling you. I was driving to Tennessee to visit one of my happy places. And picked up the phone. Actually, we were parked. And it said, you might like on Apple Podcasts. And I see a garbage can with headphones on it. I go, what's this? Who Are These Podcasts? I click it. And then the first episode was fantastic that I listened to. And then I listened to like 2 or 3 more. I go, this is the show. And then I came on this show after the vacation and talked about how much I liked that show. And then I took the audio of me talking about how much I liked their show and reached out to make a friend and said, hello, my name is, this is me talking about you. I love your show. That message was not received. But the message that was received was from, who was it? One of the audience members heard me singing the praises of Who Are These Podcasts, and then reached out to Carl and said, you got to roast Eric's show. Well, that all came together. And then, man, months later, I get an email from Carl. It says, hey, I just saw what you sent me, and I also got a email from one of your audience members saying I should roast your show. It's happening. And I was like, what? Oh, no. Fucking shit. And it was rough, but I thought it would have been rougher. The things that they attacked me on weren't that bad. And so I was like, you know what? I think this is a victory. And, of course, I rolled with it, made friends with Carl at the urging of Mark R. He said, why don't you read, this is months after that, he said, why don't you reach out and ask him if you can review a show? And he said, yes! And then we became great pals. By the way, concerning that other stuff I was talking about, this show is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents either are products of my imagination or used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual events or locales or persons living or dead is entirely coincidental. Adam says, Carl made fun of you for having sponsors. Yeah, exactly. The fuck? That's not anything to make fun of. All right. Okay. So anyway, where was I? Baker Mayfield last night. The Raiders are up 16-10 with 2 minutes to go. Mayfield got picked up by the Rams less than 48 hours earlier. Let me actually back up. I short-circuited the story. He was drafted by Cleveland, and then he was so shitty in Cleveland that they said, no, we don't want you anymore. We're going to go spend money on Deshaun Watson, who we're pretty sure as soon as we sign him, he's going to get a near season-long suspension because he keeps bouncing his big black cock off of people who are giving him massages, chicks. That's how much unfavorably Baker Mayfield was viewed. So they get rid of Baker Mayfield. He goes to Carolina. New start. And horrible. They cut him. So he's out of a job, Baker Mayfield. His star has fallen. He goes from the tip top of the heap to the bottom of the pile. Just like that. Sounds like radio. The Rams need a quarterback. The Rams are limping their way through this season. They're having a bad year after last year. They won the Super Bowl, and this year they weren't doing shit, and Matthew Stafford hurt, so he's out for the rest of the year. Who knows what the hell's going to happen to him? He's got a spinal injury, for God's sake. And they've got some guy no one's heard of starting the game for the Rams. Excuse me, yesterday. And then the next thing you know, in this game, Baker Mayfield comes in. He doesn't even know the playbook. He doesn't even know what city he's in. But he finds himself with 2 minutes to go marching onto the field with a chance to win the game. Audio check. Video check. Raiders punting. Nice kick.
Gets it away, angles it.
Look at this.
Side.
Bad to worse.
It's a nice roll for the Raiders. It skims the sideline. Look at that.
Okay, so 98 yards to go with 1:46. A quarterback who everybody thinks sucks shit and has forgotten how to play football on a team that he has no idea what the plays are.
And downed inside the 5-yard line. It bounced around the 20 or so. Looked like it was about ready to go out. And it's a 64-yard punt.
Baker comes out. He has no idea what's going on. He gets in the huddle, and he says, all right, run around. If I see you, I'll throw you the ball. That's the name of this play.
Mayfield from his own end zone caught.
All right, so whatever. Give him a little room out of the end zone. Now he only has 90 yards to go and $1:37 to do it.
On 3rd and 1, look out. Mayfield hit as he throws.
All right, so picked off. He's hit as he throws. But wait, there's some laundry on the field.
Intercepted with a flag, though.
Pass interference. Defense number 21. Off place at the spot of the foul.
You hear a lot of boos, a lot of Raider fans there. This is in L.A.
Automatic touchdown.
All right, so a little more life. 1:20.
Up to the 28-yard line.
You know where this is going.
To give them more light.
Look at this catch.
Deep down the side.
Oh, okay. Now he threw that into double coverage. Whoever this guy is, give him a raise.
Skowronek. Ben Skowronek with a great catch, a contested catch all the way to the 40-yard line.
That was insane.
Better coverage, and somehow he gets that into Skowronek to give him a chance, and Skowronek fights him for that football.
Under a minute. 32-yard.
I don't know what happened there.
35, 34, 33. Mayfield throws. That's caught. That's a first down. Here's Skowronek to the 22. Now Mayfield.
They have no timeouts. The Rams have no timeouts. Now getting close to the red zone. Mayfield has to clock the ball, spike it.
Gets up there. He's got to spike it here.
All right, so now we got 15 seconds left. They're at about the 20. They've gone all the way down the fucking field.
2nd and 10. Mayfield to the end zone.
Holy shit. Oh, my God. He doesn't even know who's on the team. He's like, hey, thanks, Chief. Good job, guy. Nice block, fella.
This is impossible. They go 98 yards.
That is so fucking great.
That's good for 23.
Oh, you got Atwell right here
Okay.
who can work to the inside. Baker is locked in.
This is, I think that's, I don't know who that, Kirk Herbstreit talking about. I guess Mayfield's going to watch to see how this guy reacts. And if this guy cuts to the middle of the field, that means this guy gets no help. Number 12.
Right here on the safety. Watch the movement by Daron Harmon at the snap of the football. He works to the middle of the field, meaning, okay, I got a shot here at one-on-one.
So then it's a 50-50 ball. Throw it up and go get the motherfucking ball.
To the left. Takes it. And
How cool is that?
downfield with receivers he's never thrown with. We saw it with Skoranek.
Yes. And then this kicker, Gay. Extra point.
17-16, Los Angeles.
All right, but the Raiders got one more chance.
Too good.
He's trying to get in the locked gate. They'll let him in. Here's Carr. Any magic here? No.
Intercepted. Rams win it. Oh, that is just freaking sweet. My God. Too cool. Too cool. All right. I want to talk Brittany Griner. A lot of people are like, oh, yeah. She's not going to take a knee for the anthem now, including me. She's never done that. She has never, ever taken a knee for the anthem. Brittany Griner said, I don't think we should play the national anthem at our games. And that was a problem. You know, everybody hated her for that. And she's like, well, I'm doing that. This was at the time when all the Black Lives Matter, before Black Lives Matter became kind of like a punchline. And actually, people were, protesting and, all sorts of nonsense going on. There was a lot of unrest, social problems. Oh, my God. Her contribution was, in order to make awareness, I don't feel it's right to play the anthem. And now, most people, well, half the country, think that she's doing that to be disrespectful to the flag. But she wasn't. It's the same thing as Kaepernick. That's her way of doing it. Kaepernick wasn't doing it to say, I hate America. He was doing it to draw attention to the racial inequalities in the world. Now, no matter how many times I say that, people don't get it. They either refuse to believe it, they refuse to understand, they refuse to take a breath and try to maybe let that soak in to some degree. And I was like that. I, for a period of time, said, no, you can't do that. All right? Well, that's where she was coming from. So when she gets busted, now, and she also said, look, I think her dad was in Vietnam, fought in Vietnam, or her grandpa was in Vietnam, and her dad was a cop for like 30 years. And she actually wanted to get in law enforcement for a period of time. So she said, it's not about any of that shit. But still, you know how it is. She's a lesbian. She's black. Liberal ideology. Half the country's going to hate you. Oh, by the way, you're getting arrested with hash oil in Russia. So a good portion of this country is happy that she's in a Russian prison for 10 months. All right. But not anymore. She is now, out of prison and on the way back home. And then there's a lot of folks that are like, wait a minute. What about Paul Whelan? I want to talk about that. Holy shit.
For joining us. I'm Jerika Duncan. Nora is on assignment. Her interview with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen in just a moment. But first, American Brittany Griner is on her way home. She was arrested for possession of cannabis oil nearly 10 months ago, sentenced to 9 years in prison, and sent to a penal colony in Russia. Her release was part of a prisoner swap for international.
How fucking crazy is that? 9 years. Now look at this. This is Merchant of Death guy. This is the arms dealer, okay? Now, all he's done since the fall of the Soviet Union was with countries that were used to be part of the Soviet Union, he would make transactions to get their old Cold War weaponry, all right? And then he would sell it to terror organizations and countries with militia that are attacking the U.S., in Colombia, specifically, the paramilitary group known as FARC, they needed weaponry. They needed to fight the United States. All right, he was selling them arms. In fact, he sold to an undercover FBI guy a like anti-aircraft gun or some shit in Thailand, and that's what ended up getting this guy in trouble, the Merchant of Death.
National arms deal.
And this is in United Arab Emirates. This is Merchant of Death here. This is Brittany Griner right here. They're actually interacting from the prisoner swap.
Victor Boot, the so-called Merchant of Death, was serving a 25-year federal prison sentence in Illinois for conspiring to kill Americans and for supporting terrorism. Left out of the deal was ex-Marine Paul Whelan, imprisoned in Russia since 2018 on espionage charges. We have team coverage tonight of this story and begin with CBS's Margaret Brennan. Margaret, good evening.
And good evening to you, Jerika. These final details came together within just the past 48 hours. U.S. officials feared it could all fall apart, and it wasn't until very early this morning that officials here in Washington breathed a sigh of relief when Brittany Griner finally boarded a U.S. plane.
I'm glad to be able to say that Brittany's in good spirits. She's relieved to finally be heading home.
All right. I guess I don't know why. Look at Biden. I have no idea why Putin would want Merchant of Death. Obviously, there's some good things that he, God knows what how connected he is to Putin. But Putin's like, oh, yeah, well, if we're going to give you Brittany Griner for an ounce of hash oil, we need this guy who's peddling arms to nations to be involved in terrorist activity. Now, yes, correct. This is not an equitable trade. All right? At all. But Biden is fucked. There's no way. Can you imagine if he actually came out and said, it's just not worth it. We have a lot more on the line by giving back Merchant of Death and getting in return a WNBA basketball player. Like he would have to quantify it. And, my God, if he did that, he would be hated more than Trump. The Democrats would be like, bring back Trump. At least we know what we're getting there. This would be horrible. So he kind of had no choice on the deal here.
Gathered in the Oval Office, President Biden and Brittany Griner's wife, Sherelle, spoke by phone with the 32-year-old basketball star once she had been handed over.
Today, I'm just standing here overwhelmed with emotions.
Russian state media showed video.
You know how much vag these two have eaten since they got back? Can you just imagine the chow fest that went on between 7-foot-tall Brittany and that whoever the wife is?
Of the swap on the tarmac at Al Bateen Airport in Abu Dhabi.
The way she walks, she just lumbers. She is a big, big girl.
Griner and convicted arms dealer Victor Bout walked towards one another and then headed to separate planes home. In Russian video filmed days earlier, Griner is seen signing what appears to be release forms.
Do you know where I'm heading to? No.
Listen to her voice.
No? You fly back home. To the U.S. To the U.S.
Okay. President Biden agreed last week to free Bout in order to bring Griner home. It follows months of public pressure from Griner's fellow athletes and quiet contact between the CIA and Russian intelligence, who exchanged messages between Vladimir Putin's Kremlin and Mr. Biden. Throughout the summer, the Biden administration had tried to bring home both Griner and 52-year-old Paul Whelan, a private corporate security contractor who had been imprisoned for 4 years on espionage charges. But Russia refused.
I wish that Paul Whelan had been on that plane, too.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
We got to the point where it was clear that there was an opportunity to bring Brittany back. The choice wasn't between getting one American or the other back. It was the choice before us was one or none.
Whelan was all.
I will bet you that behind closed doors, Putin said, "We'll give you Paul Whelan back if you stop giving state-of-the-art technology to Ukraine to fight us. We will give you Paul Whelan back if you stop supporting Ukraine."
Also left behind in April when the Biden administration negotiated the release of...
If I'm Paul Whelan, I say, yeah, don't do it. Do not do it.
Marine veteran Trevor Reed. Today, a devastated Whelan spoke by phone from a Russian penal colony.
My treatment is also much different than others held for espionage at other prisons.
Meanwhile, Griner is en route to Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, where she will get an evaluation.
Today, my family is whole, but as you all are aware...
This is wife. She's part of the evaluation. She's actually going to taste Brittany Griner to make sure everything's on the up and up.
There's so many other families who are not whole.
And I will be licking whole in a matter of days.
Speaking of families not being whole, Margaret, what's next for Paul Whelan?
Look at the shoes on this chick. Oh, my God. Seriously hot.
Attempt to come home.
Well, Jericka, Secretary Blinken told me this afternoon that this was just a one-for-one transaction, nothing more and nothing less. In other words, this isn't a diplomatic breakthrough that opens the door to other opportunities. And it also isn't clear what other cards the U.S. has left to play here to secure the release of Whelan or another American, Mark Fogel, who's been detained on drug charges.
Oh, these fucking assholes stop going to Russia. When are we going to learn? Quit. We've got a fucking basketball team in Russia.
Over the course of the last few months, the U.S. has offered numerous Russians who are being held here in the U.S., and the Kremlin declined to take the offer. Their top priority was a one-for-one swap and Victor Bout himself.
All right, Margaret Brennan covering the story.
Can we get the evidence that Russia claims they have against Paul Whelan? I mean, maybe if we all get that, we can say, oh, well, he probably deserves to be there. And then we can be done with this. I'm kidding. All right. So she's back. Half the country is pissed off. I made this point on the Patreon. She is lucky Trump is not in office. If Trump were in office, she would not. He'd be like, oh, fuck her. Fuck her. She's not coming back. Big fraud scene. All right. Okay. So for you folks that are enjoying the show on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, it's time to say goodbye. You got to go to Twitch, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, if you want the rest of this show. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Download the Twitch app. Search me out, Eric Zane Live, and off you go. Follow the page. Subscribe with Amazon Prime, or throw $5.99 at it if you want to subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, that's totally fine. You get the show free, but you will see ads during the show. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Download the show audio, which I post right after this is done, to all of the platforms. So if you want the audio on demand, just search Eric Zane Show on whatever podcasting platform that you use. Send me an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com on the Shoreliner Striping inbox. Thank you. Wait a minute. Before I do that, I need to do some math. An update on the Great Food Giveaway. At last check. Okay, give me a second here. Going to the tote board. $1,358.08 in PayPal. Plus $718 in Venmo. Plus $835 in Venmo. Plus $610 in Venmo. Plus $404 in Venmo. We got a few. We got a couple yesterday. Thank you. We have a total of $39.25.08 in our coffers to feed hungry people. We need $55.70. We now need $1,644.92 to feed 200 families on December 22nd. As they pull up to Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV, we put in their car a box containing a Christmas ham, cans of vegetables, bag of potatoes for mashing, jar of gravy, King's Hawaiian rolls, package of King's Hawaiian rolls, and a pumpkin pie. 100% of every dollar you send goes toward the Great Food Giveaway. Thank you. On Venmo, search Eric Zaitunian. ERIC-ZEITUNIAN. On PayPal, search at Eric Zane Show. Please give it as a gift. And there you go. If you're listening to the audio podcast, show notes, you'll find all this information. Give, so we can feed 200 families, which is twice as many as we did last year and the year before. The first 2 years of this, we did 100 families. This year, 200. Go big or go home. I need the 5s and the 10s. Sure, it's great to get the 50s and the 100s and the 150s and the 500s. Love you. But if we have so many numbers that all we need is the 5 and the 10s from everyone. So do it right as we speak right now. Venmo app, you all have it. PayPal app, you all have it. Don't ignore me. Don't pretend like I'm not in the room. Just 5 or 10. That's all I'm asking. Everybody, 5 or 10 right now. Venmo at Eric-Zeitunian. PayPal at Eric Zane Show. And then, boom, we're done. I can be done talking about it. Anything extra, that money goes to Kids Food Basket. I am making an accountability on social media of all of the money coming in with screenshots of everyone's donation to total up a dollar amount, which I will reveal to you. And then I go to Meijer, I buy all the food, I show you the printout, the long-ass receipt with the dollar amount spent, and boom. There you go. Kyle Ryan says, I cashed out my upside rewards. I will send that. Very, very sweet. Thank you. As of this second, we need $1,644.92. Thank you very much. All right. Folks on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, I say goodbye to you now.